Hi guys, it's the weathering guy here. This is going to be part one tutorial of a project we're going to be starting to work on here. Um, Everybody's got to start somewhere. The best place I can tell you is find yourself a model that you want to do. And then what I highly recommend is doing some research. Everybody says work off a prototype photo. I found this gem on railroadpicturearchives.com. It's the same exact number of the car I'm working on, which is rarely the case. So I usually have to find something close, but that is what that is there. So what do we have to do to get this shiny model into the picture that we just saw over there? First step will be to, one, put a glove on. This keeps the fingerprints off of your models. There's nothing worse than dropping a couple hours into a model and then when you get done seeing a big fat thumbprint in the middle of it somewhere. So we put gloves on, first step. Second step is we will dull coat it, and this will start the process. This has been dull coated and this has been faded. Okay, for this part of the video, I was absolutely mute. I have a sound effects thing where I can record my own voice. Here you see me adding thinner to my airbrush. For the next part of this, I'm going to be shaking up my actual dull coat and adding it to the airbrush. For this next part, I'm grabbing a sponge and I press it into the airbrush, and as I pull back on the trigger, the air gets cycled back into the cup and begins mixing the chemicals. Now for this part, I'm just gently making light passes over this because I don't want to overdo it. As you see the mist coming out, I'm actually pulling back on the trigger of the airbrush to release that. And then every once in a while you'll still see me, looks like I'm airbrushing, but I'm just holding down on the trigger because that just like right here, it just lets the air out so I can dry that off and continue on. Now for this next portion, I'm kind of just showing you the difference of what I've done and what I haven't. What I'm doing is trying to take the shininess off the plastic to make it look more real. For this next part, I'm going to be adding some Model Power white paint to this to continue to fade the paint. Alright, so what we're doing with the white paint here is, as the train sits out in the weather all day long, the sun begins to break down the clear coat on the paint, as well as beginning to fade the paint. So that's what we're trying to attempt to recreate here. We're doing very light passes because a little bit goes a long way. You'll see as I go here, I randomly like to show you where we're at in progress here so you know where we were and where we're at. Alright folks, I've always wanted to do one of these white faded out ones really bad. I'm guessing this hopper was carrying a flour load and it spilled over the top, and the rainwater and Mother Nature have taken it down the sides of the car. Bottle of this color wash tint here. We're going to start trying to put some layers down on that and see where that gets us. Next, we're going to go with this big one here. Now the key trick to this is not loading your brush down full of gobs of paint. I'm dipping into the bottle over here and brushing off as much as I can right here just to get, I don't want to put down a ton of material on this. And I'm just trying to make vertical streaks here in between the ribs, using the ribs as a guide here. Got a little cup of water over here to clean this out on, and then we clean the brush out. Now, one of the other nice things with model railroading is you need to borrow one of these. I recommend finding one at a cheap store somewhere. Don't steal your wife's good hair dryer because it gets them angry at you real quick. Okay, we now have a slightly faded down model here. This side didn't pick up the stuff so well, so I'm going to have to go back and redo this quick. Okay, that's a better, more even fade coat here. It's going to be varying degrees of white all over, but this is just a start for now. All right, we have our dull coat mixed up here. I'll just nice and evenly try and get this on here, just so this is sealed and coated here, because we're probably going to end up putting some other mediums on this. And like I said, you can watch some of the whiteness just disappearing with this. Now here, I'm just pushing down on the button here on the trigger, because that just puts air out and allows me to help dry some of this off. As I pull back, that's when I release the medium in here. One of the other areas we got to get done is the roof here, because this is where they filled these things, and this is where the disaster starts here. So by the looks of this, I don't have a full roof shot, but it looks like most of this was just absolutely covered in flour. Might have been a windy day when they were loading this thing, and it just got everywhere. Now, I've already dull coated this in between all this, so we're going to hit it up with another coat of this just to see where it comes back around on us here. We want to go heavy around over the middle here, because that's where it's showing the worst of it. And then the other one was over here over the letters. Or the reporting markings of it. Now, folks, this is a layered effect. This is nothing you're going to do in 5 minutes of time here. This is a time-consuming event, so to speak. You already saw me put down a layer of this, and then after I dull coated, like I said, it reverted back to these thinned out areas here. I also use a clean paintbrush sometimes for dusting too. It just gets a little bit more off than. But I generally stick with this guy here. All right, I'm gonna have to dull coat this one more time, and then we'll go from there.